My parents blew up their finances to support my superstar sister's failed bakery and expect me to throw away my college dreams to bail them out. I finally snapped, cut off contact, and now they're stalking me at college to guilt me back. Am I wrong for choosing myself after a lifetime of being their afterthought? Hey everyone, it's pretty late as I write this, so please bear with any mistakes I might make. And if I start getting emotional, it's just that my situation is really messed up right now. I'm Chloe, 19 fifth, and I have an older sister, Brianna, 24 fifth. Brianna has always been my parents' golden child. Honestly, I don't even think my parents wanted me. They went out of their way my whole life to make me feel like I didn't belong. I was that extra kid, the one always discouraged from doing anything that might take the spotlight off Brianna. Brianna herself is as average as it gets. To be honest, there's nothing she's better at than me. Still, my parents have forever gone out of their way to hype her up. I was always excelling more than her in school, sports, pretty much everything. Maybe it's because I worked so hard for even a scrap of the love and attention my folks lavished on her. I kept trying to best her, hoping they'd finally see me, but that just made them resent me more. They called me attention-seeking and tried to shut me down. Sometime in high school, I realized nothing I did would ever make them love me more than Brianna. I stopped trying to impress them, but I didn't stop achieving. Now I was just doing it for myself. I think Brianna was kind of jealous of me, though she basked in the endless attention from my parents. Outside our home, everyone could tell who was the more capable sibling. I tried for years to be her friend, but she was always too full of herself to bother with me. When it was time for me to go off to college, things with my family were so strained that I think we were all secretly relieved to get out of each other's way. I went to college 2 years ago. I'm majoring in business. I've always wanted to do my own thing. Thanks to a scholarship and the help of my best friend Mia's. 19 fifth. Father, Mr. Thompson, I don't have to pay my full tuition. Mia has always known about my family drama, and since my parents weren't about to help if it might risk me outshining Brianna, her dad just stepped up. He covered the rest so I wouldn't have to take out student loans or beg my parents. 60% of my tuition is covered by the scholarship, so it's not even a huge sum for him. Their family is well off. Unlike mine, money is no problem for them, and they're honestly way more generous and supportive than my own parents. My parents think I'm going to school for free. I told them I scored a 100% tuition waiver, so they'd never have to shell out for me, which they were overjoyed with, as it left more money available to dote on Brianna. I work as a part-time math tutor to cover extra expenses, and I get by. I live frugally, but since my school covers my food and campus housing, I manage. Financially, my parents have never been stable. 4 years ago, they pawned all their jewelry and my grandfather's house so they could keep their textile business afloat. Not that it helped them much. They don't take my advice, so at some point I stopped trying. I used to have anxiety about their debts until I read somewhere that since I'm not a cosigner, I'm not responsible. After that, I just let go. They don't respect me or my opinions, so why should I stress myself sick for them? Yesterday, though, my parents called me and said Brianna was in serious trouble, and so were they. They'd kept it from me, but almost a year ago, they took out a mortgage on their current house to help Brianna open a bakery. Brianna, who never went to college and can barely bake, was somehow supposed to run a whole business, and they thought this was a fantastic idea. I never knew about any of the finances, not that I was interested. Now the bakery's gone bust, and my family wants me back home running all the accounts and managing their business. They want me to drop out of college, help save the family, and join the family business full-time. This wasn't a request, but an expectation, spoken as if it was the most obvious thing in the world. According to them, I owe the family, and since I couldn't go to college, work a second job, and rescue their business all at once, the logical thing would be to give up college since that required me to be away from home. I was so shocked I couldn't find words. They really acted like it was completely reasonable to expect me to sacrifice my future simply because they'd squandered everything on Brianna's bakery dream. While my dad argued that I should do it for the family, I told them flat out, I don't owe them a thing. They never treated me like family, and now all of a sudden, I'm supposed to play the dutiful daughter and fix everything for them? When my dad tried the do it for your home line, I shot back that our house had never been my home, and I hung up on him before blocking all of them. I realized, after that call, how pointless it was for me to ever keep in touch or hope they'd change. That day, I was in such a bad place that I skipped all my classes and didn't talk to a soul. I was furious at their nerve, at their willingness to throw away my life for Brianna and their own mistakes. But weirdly, I also felt guilty. Guilty for turning my back when I could help. It's been a day, and I thought I'd feel relieved by now, but honestly, I still feel terrible. Last time I was with my family was Christmas. It was civil, not warm, but not openly hostile either. Now I just think they were nice because they knew they'd need something. I don't even know how to get started talking about this with anyone, not even Mia. I came here for reassurance. Am I really in the wrong for walking away from a family that mistreated me, even if they need help now? Update 1. Hey again, everyone. I want to thank everyone here who validated my feelings and reassured me that I'm not being selfish. I keep asking myself why my parents would believe, even for a second, that I'd give up my life plans for them after everything they've put me through, and I can't believe I ended up missing a full day of classes because of all this drama. That's the part I regret most. It's been 3 days, and I haven't heard a peep from them since. I have no idea what they're up to, and I really don't care as long as they leave me alone. Mia is such a great friend. She immediately offered to help, but I told her I was fine for now. What I needed more from her was just emotional backup, especially since I've been an anxious mess after all this. I'm not really worried about them. I'm worried about myself. When I finish college, I won't have a family home to return to. And even though I know Mia and her dad would let me stay with them, I hate the idea of having to impose on friends, even for a little while. I'm driving myself crazy with anxiety about my future now. I can't afford a single misstep. I need to be the best in my class and land a good job when I graduate because I don't have any safety net. I can't stop worrying about what's next. Sometimes I just wish my family weren't so awful. Update 2. My family actually came to the college campus today. Yeah, they just showed up out of nowhere. I couldn't believe they had the nerve to do that. They wanted to take me to lunch and have a talk. I didn't want to cause a scene in front of my friends, so I went with them, but only after insisting on choosing the place. I picked a diner I like and that the owners know me well, mostly so I'd have backup if my parents tried anything. Once we sat down, they told me to order, but I didn't want to eat with them, so I only ordered lemonade. They insisted, but I stood my ground. Predictably, they ordered full meals while I sat there dreading the whole thing. They started talking about their money crisis. Again, they wanted me to rethink quitting college to help save them from the mess they dug themselves into. I told them, again, I was not quitting school for them, especially since they never consulted me before making these massive decisions. My sister, of course, got annoyed and started accusing me of being jealous of her. Honestly, that's laughable. She has nothing I could possibly be jealous of. She was always the one insecure about me, not the other way around. I know some of you said I sounded bitter and resentful about Brianna in my last post, and yes, I absolutely am. She got all the advantages, all the attention, and I got shoved into the shadows. I think anyone would hold on to some bitterness in my place. Anyway, my mom shushed Brianna, and then came the guilt trip. My parents started talking about how they were the ones who made it possible for me to go to college, to give me a good life, and that I owed them for it. That was literally their legal obligation as parents. It's not like they did me a huge favor. I told them this was my final decision, and if they didn't leave, I'd get campus security involved. My dad got furious, looking like he was about to blow up at me, but my mom stopped him and then told me, with a look of pure disgust, that they were ashamed of me and that I was a disappointment. They left without waiting for their meals or paying for them. When I pointed this out, Brianna just looked over her shoulder, grinned smugly, and told me I could pay for everything since it was my choice to eat there. I lost it after they left. Days of trying to keep it together just crumbled. I broke down right there in the diner. Ugly crying, hiccuping, all of it, in front of a bunch of strangers. The owner's wife came over, took me behind the counter, and she and her husband sat with me until I could calm down. They were so kind, even packing up all the food my family had ordered and insisting I didn't have to pay for it, though I fully intend to. They even called a cab to take me back to campus and paid for that too. It's honestly only because of people like them and Mia and her dad that I haven't totally lost my mind. As soon as I got back, I called Mia and asked if she could help me find a lawyer. I told her everything. If my parents were willing to show up at college to harass me, who's to say how far they'll go? Mia told me she'd come see me with her father and their lawyer as soon as possible. And not to worry, they'd take care of me. I still feel guilty for relying on Mia's family so much, but honestly, I don't have anyone else. I'm just really grateful to have them. Mia has been my best friend since we were little, and she and her dad are the closest thing to real family I have. Even the diner owners have shown me more care in a year than my own family has my entire life. At this point, I don't even think of my family as just greedy or unkind. They're cruel. They don't care what damage they do as long as they get their way. They deserve every bit of bad karma heading their way, especially after today. Update 3. Hey, I've been caught up with work and other stuff, so I haven't checked in here, but I want to say thank you for your kind words. I'm actually doing a lot better now, and I started therapy for the first time ever. I realized that the stuff I've been dealing with isn't normal just because I'm used to it. I'd been overwhelmed about my future, and Mia and her dad encouraged me to finally get help. When they visited 3 weeks ago, with their family lawyer, we got the ball rolling on a restraining order against my parents and sister. The long-term plan is to get myself legally estranged from them for good. When Mia and her dad visited, the day after my parents' ambush, I was a wreck, but having them there helped. Mr. Thompson told me not to worry. I was like another daughter to him. Mia's mom died just after she was born, but they both told me if she'd ever had a sister, I'd be exactly the kind of person she'd want. That meant more to me than anything and really lifted some of the guilt I'd been feeling about being a burden. I also sat down with their lawyer the next day. Mia's father and the lawyer had to go back home for work, but Mia stayed a few extra days with me. She was the one who got me to look for a therapist and book my first session. I've been going twice a week since then. I'm not totally healed, but at least I'm moving forward. My family hasn't reached out since, but just to be safe, we're still pursuing the restraining order because I truly don't trust them. All I can say right now is that I'm really grateful for the good people I do have in my life, and I'm hopeful about what's next. That wraps up the whole story. This story highlights how outside support networks can replace toxic family ties and how important it is to set boundaries for your own well-being, even if that means walking away from those who raised you. Here is a question for you. What would you have done if you were in OP's place? Would you have felt obligated to give up your dreams to try and save your family, or to finally save yourself? Share your thoughts.